lineup that you wouldn't believe. We're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. We're going to talk about the DMV. The Washington Commanders, the Wizards, the Baltimore Orioles, the Washington Capitals, and NCAA tournament, and other things. So the calling number is 512-543-4662. Again, the number is 512-543-4662. Make sure you state your name for the record and who you represent so we can hear you clearly and get the information that you want to hear on your weekend about your team. So again, we're talking about the Commanders, Capitals, Wizards, Baltimore Orioles, and NCAA tournament. For the Washington Commanders, just signed wide receiver KENNAN Allen, a former, Chicago Bear, former Charger wide receiver. Also, in the news, the Washington Commanders are now starting to restructure their offensive line pretty well so that we can have a extended schedule. So our schedule is going to start soon, so we get to see who we're going against one day. Oh man, so we're going to have a scheduling. I'm thinking about having a scheduling show soon. I have to figure out when the scheduling. I'm going to look at that right now. We're going to have to figure out what scheduling we're going to have. Probably have a scheduling party here. So that way we can 2025. That is one of the funnest things we can have. So the first ever DMV Sports Show scheduling will take place. Let's see. When will that take place? I'm giving you folks here a live input here.
Donate to the Soul McGee now.
Okay. Well, nobody else is here but you, like I said. There we go. Let's see what we got. There we go. Let's see. The NFL draft will start on the 24th and 26th. Let's say May 12th. What is it, May 12th? How you doing, Coach?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. So right now we're going to talk about the NFL. And in the NFL, we're going to talk about the Commanders. And now the Commanders just signed the wide receiver KENNAN Allen for former Bear, former former Bear, former San Diego Charger, LA Charger, Las Vegas Charger, excuse me. We are now going to go into the phase of the scheduling. So scheduling might start May 12th. So we get to see who we play against. So I'm thinking about hosting a schedule party, DMV Sports Show style. Once I get the bearings and stuff like that, I'll make sure I tell the team about it. And make sure that you go into the DMV Sports Show group, and we're going to host it on Facebook, probably, or on another venue, depending on the location and stuff. And I'll talk it over with Kev and see if I can get that set up, so that way he'll know about it. And I'll have everybody from the DMV Sports Show comment on it and moving forward with that. Look out for that. Sorry, I'm not myself today. I apologize for that. There's a lot happening here.
You all right?
I'll make it.
No, he's not fine. He needs donations. He
I'll make it. Yeah, I'll make it. We're not going to bring that into the open because it's a DMV sports show.
Believe me, I know what you mean.
I'm
not gonna.
But you know what? The greatest thing happening here is that what is it? Dallas, not Dallas, but the Giants signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to a contract, which is very, very lucrative for both of them. But there's a problem. The problem is that Malik Neighbors is actually 1,000% against the hiring of Russell Wilson, and so his comment was, "What did I do to deserve this effing S?" That was his comment. End quote. Yeah, he does not like Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. So, NFL draft is going to be on the 24th through the 26th or the 8th through the 29th, depending on how they're going to characterize that. So, with the 29th pick of the NFL draft, the Commanders are on the clock. Who do we select at 29? Do we go edge rusher, wide receiver, or tackle? Which one do we go, Coach?
Edge rusher.
Okay, so who would you rather get? Who would be an edge rusher for you? Now, I have a list of edge rushers here, and I was going over in my head of edge rushers that are not going to fall to us under this one. Now, here's where I'm going to say. Abdul Carter is primarily the best edge rusher by far, right? So he's definitely is gonna go in top 10 or top 5. James Pierce Jr. is a University of Tennessee alum. He is the second best edge rusher on the chart. He got an 88.3. Shamir Stewart is by far the third best edge rusher with an 88.0 rating. And he's number 3. McKill Williams, he's at University of Georgia. He's an edge rusher with an 87.7 rating. Mike Green is the University of Marshall, and he has an 87.3 rating. And Jack Sawyer is a University of Ohio State. He has an 87.3 as well, and he is the sixth best edge rusher. Now, Nick Gordon is the University of Texas A&M with an 87.3, edge rating in that 4.3. Princely Umanlin, I hope I say his name right. University of UMass, and he has an 87.2 rating. Landon Jackson, University of Arkansas, has an 86.3 rating. And most of these rushers out of the top 10 are very good. Now, 10, JT All right, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but having a little delay. I think my update kicked in at the last minute, but I'm here. Like I was saying, there's a lot of NFL rushers. I mean, post draft coming out of the college ranks, but they're really good in that. Like I said, Donovan is Zaku. I hope I'm saying his name right. Um, he's from Florida State, and Nick Sortan can actually be a possible candidate for us, as well as those two Ohio States Buckeyes edge rushers. Yeah, I think most of what we can do is, I think the best, in my opinion. I don't know if Adam Peters will follow my blueprint, but these two have always fallen, into my account, that those two, Nick Sortan and Donovan, are actually best for us. Now we can basically come up in the second round and pick out, either Nick Scorton or Donovan, or you can even get a better understanding of what these two edge rushers really is, you know, and that's why I believe, those are the best edge rushers that will fall under 29 for us. Um, like I said before, call in number 512-543-4662. State your name for the record and who you represent. I'm going to see if I can get back on the down count. Hey, and is this Lou? How you doing, Lou? Sorry, I'm experiencing a little technical difficulties. I'm trying to get back on the dialer, so just bear with me until I get back on. You got fans, Lulu. You got fans. All right, so let me see if so. Hey man, you just being modest. You got a fan right here. She's very giddy. You hear that, Gigi? That was her. All right, so yeah, there's a lot that's happening with the NFL, and since we were on the topic about the NFL, Lou, are you happy with the selection of Russell Wilson for the Giants? Oh wow, what? So what do you think? So what do you think about Jameis Winston? Oh no. Okay, so you like Winston better over Wilson. Hmm, okay, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I know that's pretty. Okay.
The right team, I believe he could, because he is smart and he is, he's still able to do what he needs to do. But it's the players that gotta, cooperate, and they do have to work together. And if you're going to be working with your quarterback, hey, you don't down him. You're the one that's going to be looked down on, not him. Yeah.
Right. True. Good assessment.
Wow.
Good assessment. I think what happens is that Giants just needed some good feedback for the fans, so that way they won't be, hounded by the fans later on. You know, I think what
Well, if the players turn around and they start mouthing off like he did, yeah, that's not good.
I totally agree. I think what the fans are going to experience is that this is going to be a little bit delay. You know, a little bit of you know, a little bit of heartache and pain before they can get their stuff together. I don't think this team is going to gel together as quickly as they want to gel. They're just throwing darts at the wall to see if anything sticks. I think more than anything, they saw that Russell Wilson has a good record against the East, right? Against us, against the Eagles, against the Giants, against Dallas. But I think more than anything, they got him at his cheapest moment because he's coming out of the Pittsburgh Steelers, camp, and hopefully, he'll bring some of that toughness over to the position. Now, Jameis Winston, he was part of the Saints and the Tampa Bay era. He wasn't doing all that well. I think they need to have an understanding of what's going to happen on their end. Stuff like that.
I think Russell was the best. Was that Seahawks?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I believe they should have held on to him. That's what I thought.
I mean, technically, if they lost Pete Carroll to the Raiders and he was still there, he wasn't going to be more effective in another person's scheme because, they will only utilize his arm instead of his attributes,
Okay.
So if you look at, let's say the person who's the head coach in Seattle, let's see that. Because their philosophy could be fat. No, hold on, let's see. Seattle.
Yeah, if they've changed that much,
Yeah. Seahawks.
It's just like even thinking about Washington, no way, because
right. Right.
I'm like, no, we got our quarterback, man.
Right, exactly. Let's see.
How big are these edge rushers?
Now they're 6'2", 6'3", about 74 pounds. They're very agile, very quick, very elusive. They're low red, radar. Okay, head coach is Mike McDonald. Now Mike McDonald is actually he's actually he's a football head coach. I think we lost somebody.
I think it was Hunt.
Oh yeah. He was a head coach before. His history is he is education. He was a University of Georgia alum. He has a regular season of 10-7. All right, so that's a good thing.
Are you talking about the regular Georgia or
Georgia
Bulldogs?
No, Bulldogs.
Okay.
So I mean, his career.
Now they've had some good teams.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually was let's see. Yeah, he was a University of Bulldogs, yep.
Okay.
He was a linebacker coach. He was a linebacker coach for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
So
I thought that name was familiar.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I was like, who is this cat? Who is this guy?
Who is this dude? I know that name. Where's Big Steve and where's Mr. Eric?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I'm trying to get back on. I don't know what's happening right here, folks, but hopefully we can get back on. Maybe I can see if I can do that on my phone. Let me see if I can do this on my phone. I can see everybody. I bet you I can do it on my phone. And then I can get off of here and then see you there. Hold on.
I was in total panic mode yesterday.
Oh, why? What are you in panic mode about?
Oh, I'll tell you after the show. I'm like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're fine. Let's see.
Let's so. You wouldn't believe.
I believe you. You know I believe you. Okay, pad.
Drive me nuts. Oh, God, upset here?
Oh, shoot. No, I can't do that.
Is it not going in? Going through?
Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me in. Let me see if I can try. Yeah. That's very strange. Very strange indeed.
What happened?
I'm trying to see if I can jump in. There we go. I think it's going to see if it's going to jump in. There we go. That's it.
Cool.
All right. Let me see if I can do the other one.
I wish I did have a 2019 Hyundai Kona. I don't know where it's at. I don't have one. These people keep sending me this. I'm like, what? They're nuts.
Oh, man.
I asked my brother, I said, do you see it? Do you see it? I'm like, jeez.
There we go. I'm back on. Yeah, it's always something here. Let me get off of here.
I hear you. Are we back to being muted?
No, you're not being back to being muted. I'm back here once again. Get this grid on. Boom. Now we're back. I'm sorry for the delay. As always, there's always something here. But if you look at this, like we were talking about the Seahawks and McDonald looks like he's the type of person that can actually turn over the Seahawks and bring them back into playoff mode. But it's probably going to take a year or so for them to actually grasp the concept of the playbook, defensive playbook, special teams playbook, and work as a unit, and then potentially, have a little spark here and there. Now, Sam Donald, who's now a Seahawk, I don't think. I mean, he might spark a little over there, but he won't have the same outcome he did when he was a Viking. I think what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to sit down and really, really look at things and see how they're going to move forward. Now, as for the Commanders have absolutely, they have at least the options, they have strengthened their defense a little bit more. They strengthened their offense a little bit more. People are saying, Brian Robinson doesn't need to be there. He hasn't really done anything. I would say, listen, if they gain more yardage with Brian Robertson and Chris Rodriguez, and McNichols, I think we can actually generate. Now, remember, those three running backs are not doing anything but sitting there and looking at Deebo Samuel's gain more yardage, because now Deebo Samuel is that triple threat that we desperately need down the field to cover, to accommodate Scary Terry. Now Scary Terry has somebody that's bigger, faster, and more physical than he, as always, has the speed and the agility to break tackles. Now, what does this all mean? That it means that we are now stacked on defense and offense. Now, defensive-wise, I think we need to prove more efficient. Yes, we were more elusive or a bend or break type of defense, but we really didn't have displayed a dominance yet. We got blown out 55 points in the NFC championship, division championship, and we got blown out because we were one game away of actually going to the Super Bowl. Now, I think
there was something about that. I'm never going to forget, because it just wasn't.
Well, I mean, honestly,
was that different that day.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing for me is, I think our acquisitions that year wasn't up to the task. If you know what I mean. We had Louisville jumping off sides like 6 or 7 times. Wagner was not, plugging up the middle, stopping Saquon. We played out of position. We were just blown out of the water.
They were out of whack.
Yeah, that too. But the acquisitions we got here, like Will Harris, Marshawn Lattimore, we just need somebody that can actually punish punish our, punishing our opponents, right? And right now, I can tell you right now, a lot of people were saying, we should keep all our heavy hitters on offense and, just add on. But for us to add on, we have to let people go. And there's a lot of people are saying that, we should go offense at 29 rather than defense, or, what case may have you. We have, I think it was 5 picks, but we can get some more. But the problem is we're going to have to trade.
Yeah. The one thing that I think they took away from B-Rob, and like I told you before,
yeah,
those teams knew what he was going to do.
Right.
They knew. I mean, if you expect it, it ain't going. That needs to be changed completely. The way the plays.
Yeah.
It's got to be different. It's got to be.
So let me ask you. Yeah, we do have 5. Let me ask the both of you. Let me see. Yeah, Lou's still here. Let me ask the both of you. NFL question. So there is a policy, or in the summer league meeting that's coming up, about moving the kickoff to the 30.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You got more than 35 and the 40. You're gonna keep moving it up 5 yards every year.
Yeah. So
when does it end?
So now you're moving it up, you're giving him more kickoff to what? It's going to end in the end zone, so there will be what? Less kickoffs. It's not going to make any sense. So you're moving it up. So we just had it to the 25, right? Now that 25 was reasonable instead of for the 20.
Yeah.
But
especially for the deep kickers.
Yeah, so now you're going to move it up to the 30, a little bit ways from the 40. But then you're going to kick it off to a person who's going to be in the end zone, in the middle of the end zone next to the field goal. Now you're going to make a field goal at the 20, at the 30 now. But now you're giving more power.
No, let's put it like this. So put the 35, then the 40, then the 45. And then 50. Hey, coach, go! Oh, roll away! Oh no, sorry.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh no way! No, it was just the refreshment guy caught it.
They
It's okay.
are going to do a 90-yard run.
Yeah,
it needs to be back. And we got some.
when does it
There's
end?
some teams that have some really deep kickers. Wow.
To be honest with you, the only kicker I can trust is Tressway. But the problem I have with Tressway is that normally he would kick it towards the 5, inside the 5, so we can have a better chance of, getting a touchdown. He's not that guy no more.
Yeah.
Now we got Zane Gonzalez, right? Zane Gonzalez has an OCD problem. Now, my thing is, when he kicks the football, he has to go through a whole routine. Now, that whole routine can actually be a penalty, right? And they can move it back. And they move it back, 2-3 yards at the end. At the beginning of every game. We don't need no penalties like that, especially on special teams. There's so much nuances now that
I agree with that.
I think we're going to have more problems than having for us than against us. And if we got to do, we have to.
That's what I was thinking.
I think what we need is somebody like now we have somebody on special teams that I can think they can just work with and be that starter. And his name is Kazir Allen. Kazir Allen is a UCLA alum who kicked off during the Bruins tenure there, and he was just dominating. He was a wide receiver and he was a kickoff returner. If we get him up to task, he could be another Brandon Banks for us. Now, Brandon Banks used to be a short guy who used to kick return for us, and he used to, rack up a lot of yards before he got injured, and then he lost his speed. This is by far the most challenging year because we had a taste of the championships. We had a taste of the divisional championship for over 30 years. Now we have to go back and go to the Super Bowl. We have now the pieces. It's now on Joe Witt and Cliff Kingsbury's shoulders and Dan Quinn. Now we have to pick 5 picks in the draft so that way we can have a really good year.
It's going to be like a chess.
Oh man. It's really go time, right? It's really go time.
Together.
Yeah, like you're sitting in the middle of the table. You're like, I demand you to get it together. You hear me, Dan? You hear me? You're like, who put this guy at the table? Who put this guy at the table? So you're like hitting the table and everybody's trying to eat. Can you stop hitting the table? I'm trying to put the food in my mouth. Can you sit down? What's going on, man? But let me talk to Lewis, about the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys just recently added a player that is completely not a good player. I'm gonna pull up his name and you tell me if this player. Hey, I don't know. I don't know why they do that. So the Cowboys just recently signed a running back, which means that you're not going running back in the draft. Well, they called him the Honda Civic of running backs in the draft, and he's from the University of Colorado. And there's another questions I want to ask you about Parsons. Do you think Parsons is going to be signed before the draft starts?
If I were a betting man, I think I'd say no.
Ah. So who will you get? So are you probably going to get somebody from the draft to replace him? I mean,
Well,
because if you look at it, so here's the pros and cons of not signing Parsons. If you don't sign Parsons, you can get somebody who's more efficient, more dangerous, in the top 5, right? And you can go with Pearson. You can go with the other guy from Marshall, Mike Green. You can actually get some really good ones who can actually be a solid, linebacker or edge rusher.
That guy.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is you only have 1 out of 10 to get the ones that you actually want to get. So that is another problem that you have to sit down and conjure up and think about it. But if they don't sign Parsons is actually gone, and he's probably going to the West. He's probably going to the Raiders. He's probably going to the Chargers. He could be going to the Ravens, for God's sake. This guy, and then there's so much things. Well, they said that Micah Parsons is reportedly seeking a record-breaking contract, $200 million. If he gets $200 million like that, you could just say goodbye to the Cowboys' whole future about drafting anybody else, because there's all your draft picks right on the defensive side of the football, And then you got to look at Jerry Jones, like, why you give him all $200 million? You're gonna have to sign the undrafted rookies and the draft picks. Wait, who's gonna get that money to you? And then you have to look at that and like, not my check. And then you have to look at CeeDee Lamb, not my check. And then you have to go mark and you look at Parsons' check, like, no, he gonna look at you. Are you stupid? No, you give me $200 million. I'm not gonna let this go.
Well, probably.
Yeah. I mean, and then Trayvon Diggs' contract is up this year, so you ain't gonna sign him. So he's gonna be walking the Hall of Shame. So, how do you feel? How do you feel listening to that, Lou?
Yeah.
He said
my head was spinning when I heard about that. So you can obviously talk about that.
So Jerry Jones is repeatedly infatuated with one of the players, infatuated with one of the players. So he does not want, and I quote, he does not want the Boise State running back. He wants the Colorado State running back that's named Honda Civic. Why do you want a running back named Honda Civic? This is really bad. Because
what's his name again?
His name is, he's from Colorado State, but they consider him the Honda Civic of the running backs.
Well, it could be worse. You could have a Hugo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Hugo. No, the Pinto. If you got a running back that's remind you of a Pinto that he runs and blows up, then you you just screwed yourself in the draft.
For those under the age of 30, we'll explain that next week.
Right. Right. That would be terrible. Just imagine you go into the running backs. Oh man, I can just see it. And the 4th round pick selection, the Dallas Cowboys select a Pinto. This guy's named Pinto? He's the Pinto? Yeah, he's gonna blow up.
It was Lime Green.
And
Actually, it was Lime.
Super Sport.
Right.
No, it was wrong. It was actually
Or a charger.
Pinto lime green.
Lime green? Oh my gosh, that would be bad.
Pinto lime green.
Pinto lime green. Boy. You know, this reminds me of a story. All right, I think we got enough time for a story.
Uh-oh.
No, hold on. This is a good story. It's a good story. I trust me. So this story, I remember having a Volkswagen, a yellow Volkswagen, right? And this Volkswagen had an engine in the back. Very, you know, it intrigued me. I'm like, okay, they putting the engine in the back. So where's the battery?
Yeah, Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah, the love bug. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, where's the battery at? And I saw the battery. I'm like, no, never again. I would never get a Volkswagen in my whole entire life, because you look at that and you're like, and then you look in the front, and then the trunk is in the front. I'm like, y'all screwed up. I screwed up this car so bad. I'm like, Jesus, really? You gonna put the trunk in the front? And then what happens when the tire blows out? Where you gonna put the tire at? In the front? Okay, you know what? I'm never getting the Volkswagen. It's like, that's how you feel like when you go through the draft, right? You went through the draft and you're looking at the running back. His knee blew out, but you still want him. He gonna be all right. Let's get him. I'm like, are you all right, sir?
Not unless you got a guaranteed signed from a doctor,
Exactly.
surgeon,
Exactly.
especially. Yeah.
And this is how I feel about the Colorado State running back. He's his Honda Civic, but what if that tire blows out? Then what you gonna call him? Flat tire? Honda flat tire Civic? Is that what you're gonna call him?
You know what? I would want two before.
Yeah.
I mean, they can train to hang on to the ball.
Imagine.
As fast as he is, and the way he zigzags. Oh man.
Yeah. I love the Virginia Tech running back. I went on YouTube and saw his run. It was perfect. It was like watching poetry in motion. This dude lit up the yard. I kid you not. I was like, you know what? We need to get this guy on the practice field right now. But we got 9 minutes. But I want to go ahead and
I got one for you though. Now, tell me this makes any sense. Okay, your team is above 500.
yeah.
They're probably going to the playoffs. This is basketball going here. Yeah, you fired your coach.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I feel that because there's a contract there's a clause in the coach contract, right? And it states that if you don't exceed a number, then we're going to let you go. So before
Which
that,
coach?
well, yeah, what coach?
The Jenkins.
The what? Jaguars?
No, from the NBA. Taylor Jenkins is his name.
Taylor Jenkins. What college or pros?
NBA.
NBA? Okay.
NBA.
Okay. So the guy didn't fulfill his obligation in the contract, right? So it's towards the end. It's towards the end. So if you didn't see any type of improvement in the last 5 games leading up to the firing, then you had to make a judgment call. That's what NBA GMs do. They look at what they had talked about when the signing. There's a clause just like any other sports. Taylor Jenkins. What that name sounds?
Taylor Jenkins.
That sounds so familiar. Hold on. Taylor
Jenkins.
Grizzlies head coach. Oh, okay. I know who this guy is. Pacers, right?
No,
Grizzlies. Oh, because he hasn't really fulfilled the obligation of the Grizzlies. So during it was a decision that he had to take. So it turns out that he didn't fulfill what was in there. Right? So if he didn't, they feel like there wasn't no continuity to the team, there wasn't no fire, there wasn't no urgency to get into the playoffs. Right? But they have a nucleus. They have Eddie, they have Schroeder, they have Desmond, Bane, and they have John Morant. Now, John Morant is injured. He's going to be out. He's going to come back next year. But the problem is they haven't really settled in a philosophy. So they got to fire him because they could find out. So they're going to start their journey soon. So they figure out, well, why wait until the end of the year where we can start right now? So they let him go because they didn't see no improvement, right? So they move forward. And I can see why they did it. See, it says Grizzly couldn't wait to fire Taylor Jenkins for their bold, bizarre coaching change. Now, they want to win a championship now. They don't want to wait 2 or 3 years. So what they're saying is next year is going to be the year that the Grizzlies are going to go to the finals. So how they're going to go to the finals, they're going to draft heavy, and they're going to get a coach that's going to put the fire into the veterans and rookies. And I can understand why he did that because it's actually a good philosophy. Because if you don't see the improvement in your head coach, you're just going to be like, you know what, we're going to let you go because we don't see you improving. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it has to be clause based, right? If anything in the clause say that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, we're going to let you go. You know, it's just like what they did with what's his name, Mark McCarthy. Mark McCarthy was known because of his years with Green Bay, and he didn't have the unit like he did with Green Bay because now it shows that he wasn't the prime person in Green Bay that won all those championships. It was Andy Reid. Andy Reid was the offensive coordinator. So if he didn't have offensive coordinator Andy Reid before he left and won all those Super Bowls, then he wasn't the mastermind in the whole thing. So Mike McCarthy was just the person conducting everything. He wasn't an architect of the offense. He wasn't the architect of the defense. No, he knew that he didn't have a running back, but he had an arm of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. That's all he knew. So now, if your contract is not saying, hey, listen, you need to have X, Y, and Z, you need to be in the position of the tournament, you need to have your players having the number 1 offense or the number 5 offense in the NBA or the number 5 defense in the NBA, and then you can get this amount of money. Once you get this amount of money, then we get to add more players to your pot to sweeten the deal. Once you get that extra bonus, you can do the cha-cha. You can go ahead and get you some, steak dinners. You can have 3 or 4 or 5, bathtub parties, whatever the case may be. You're still going to have the money. But that didn't happen. He was like, oh, man, you stunk up the joint, man. Get out of here. Give me my contract back. We ripped it up in front of your face. I'll put my boot in your back, like that.
Okay, let's not get too far.
I'm sorry. I went overboard. I know. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go. Okay, so okay, I got this. Rapid fire. We got it. So going to the basketball, Wizards lose to the Pacers 162-109. The Pacers kicked our butts, but we still got the draft because it looks like Cooper Flagg is going to be a Wizard at pick number 1. Hopefully we get number 1. Because the last few years we got stiffed. The Baltimore Orioles won against the Blue Jays 9-5, improving their record to 2-1. The Yankees are 2-0 in the AL East. We're just a few games back, but once they lose, we'll be number 1. We are going to the Capitals. The Capitals are Ovi's just a few goals away, folks, from being the Green GRETZY number 1. He is the number 1 past Wayne Gretzky if he sees that number. And Lou, what's that number? 8. And you got 8 to go. And I think it's 6.
His number is 8, but he has 5 to go.
5 to go. Yeah. So 5 to go, and he'll become the number 1 goal scorer in the NHL. NCAA, both Maryland women's and men's lose in the Sweet 16, and the women lost to the Lady Scarlets of South Carolina, and the men lost to the Florida Gators. And we're very sad about that, but I wish nothing but the best for both teams. They played lights out. These two teams were dangerous.
They played.
Oh my God.
I mean, they were awesome.
Oh man.
I was like, wow.
I saw that score 100. I'm like, that is insane, ladies. Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, I want to thank Coach.
You mentioned about that guy Gonzalez. You know that Steve Gonzalez is third cousin.
Yo, don't say that. He's going to get deported. So we got. So
I'll say good night.
With that being said, I would thank the co-host of the Enhanced Sports Show, Louis Tenor. Yo, have a great weekend. I want to thank Coach for coming in, and yes, the Campbell suit lady who just left. We want to thank her too, because she's looking for that Campbell suit. Have a great weekend. God bless. I miss you, everybody. And you're human first, everything second. You're conquerors by definition. Go conquer your dreams. I'm out. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself.
Have a great weekend. God bless you.
And God bless you too. All right. With that being said, I want to thank you for coming in and joining the DMV Sports Show. Sorry we had technical difficulties for the very first time this week and this year, but that's all right. We want to check you out next Saturday because we're going to talk about the scheduling. We're going to talk about the DMV Sports Show moving forward, and we're going to talk about Commanders, Wizards, Orioles, and Capitals. OV's goal, 5 goals needed to beat number 1 past Wayne Gretzky. We're also going to talk about DC United, DC Defenders, and yes, the Olympics coming up. So with that being said, you're human first, everything second. Your conquerors by definition will go conquer dreams. And your hosts will be better. All right? Peace.